Welcome back, everybody. This
Hey,
is season 2, episode 2, or episode 12, however you want to count it, of the Mount Silver podcast. I am Meelz. I am here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
hey, buddy.
I am here with Big Gucci Bafif.
I think it's Margella Meelz now.
Margella
all right.
Meelz. Oh
Listen,
my
this is getting
god.
really expensive at this point. But yes, we are here. Of course, we're here to talk about the wonderful, the wide world of Pokemon. Episode 2, Gym 2. How would you label this gym, this Misty in general? I'm talking about the game wise. Like, how would you kind of label this gym?
That shit was hard, man. Because I remember Starmie was like, Starmie was like 23, I want to say, and Bubble Beam was
She was
kinda
21.
OP. 20 Bubble Beam was OP at that time. Like that was
Yeah.
like a really good water move. So that shit was not fun to go through. But you know, if you started with Charmander, you may have some issues. Even going through the cave, there's a lot of rock types in there, so Geodude really wasn't, any help for you.
Even if you
Mhm.
caught somebody rare at this point, like even if you managed to get a Clefairy, so what?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't going to help you.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
tough. So I struggled. I struggled. Yeah, I struggled
This,
with it.
I want to say that in the game, this fight takes place after Nugget Bridge and Bill, right?
So you have the option, I think.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can go straight to Misty if you want.
Okay,
I always
because-
went
Yeah.
up just for training purposes.
Yeah. I think the three of us have been in agreement in the past that the Gary fight at the end of Nugget Bridge is the first time in the game where it's like, fuck you.
Well, no, it's the
Yeah.
beginning. I think it's the beginning of the bridge. I think
It is. It is.
Oh,
Oh,
it is. Okay, yes,
He pops
it
up
is.
on-
It is.
so.
he has his
so
Pidgeotto on him at like 18 or some shit.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
just to link from episode 1 to episode 2. So you defeat Brock, Avi, and then you go through the little route thing that's like a little Z or something, whatever. You can
Mhm.
catch a Spearow now. You can catch a few other Pokemon. Blah blah blah. You go through all those battles. You go to Mount Moon. Mount Moon is its own little peril of disaster with all the hikers and the Zubats and just everything in general with Mount Moon. But interesting. They cover it in the anime.
Yeah.
Make it a lot more joyous and jubilant than anyone
Yeah.
remembers.
There's a
Um,
lot. I mean, the Mount. I actually watched it's the only episode in between the Brock episode and the Misty episode. So I actually watched it
Mhm.
before I watched the Misty episode, and it also. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I saw the Brock episode of the gym the first time around when I watched the show. I think there's a chance this Clefairy episode was the very first episode of the show I ever saw, and I probably saw it before
Wow.
I had the game, and I probably saw it because I had seen the commercial that we've talked about so many times on the show with
Right.
the bus driver. I actually think I end up liking those types of episodes a lot more than the gym leader episodes, because what they kind of do to expand the mythology of Mount Moon is like usually better than what they do to expand the mythology of like Brock by giving him a deadbeat dad.
I agree.
And I know that we like talked about how the Misty and Brock are different than all the other gym leaders, but still, like it works better, I think.
The story in terms of the episode works a lot better in terms of just like these Pokemon come from space. You get actual like in-depth more information about the Pokemon as opposed to like I'm just encountering them and if I catch them I can read whatever's in their decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was just
One more
like,
thing
oh, they're
about Misty. If you
Mhm.
went for that little 5% Pikachu in the forest, in the bug forest, then you're probably
Viridian
all right.
Forest,
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
probably the only thing you really had besides, obviously picking Ivysaur,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
or
I think
Bulbasaur.
that Pikachu I think was harder to get than Clefairy was in Mount
it
Moon.
was. It was.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like you always encountered it before you left Viridian Forest. Like you always would encounter that Pikachu no matter what.
It's there. It's
Um,
there.
I think just general with the Misty sort of battle in the game, she had Staryu. She started off. I mean, the series does a good job in maintaining the same exact team that they do in Red and Blue, which is nice. Same exact moves too. She had Staryu, which had Tackle and Water Gun, so that was interesting. And then she had Starmie, which I always thought was one of the coolest looking Pokemon, just from a standpoint of like it's purple, it's got a jewel in its chest.
So
Like,
unique.
you know,
Like
yeah.
that it's even in terms of like Pokemon without faces that they've made even since then, it still is kind of the only one in its class. Obviously that one and Star U and Starmie, but
Yeah.
there are no other Pokemon like those. And they're kind of like, because of that, they're kind of some of the most believable like deep sea Pokemon, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because the actual star, like Starfish, Star Me, Star You, I was like, oh yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeff, what did you think of the design of Star You and Star Me?
Well, they're really cool. I like the jewel crest in the center. First of all, the way that they speak, or not speak, but they're whatever that they is hilarious.
In the anime or the game?
Yeah.
Well, no, the game one is hard. First of all, that shit is hard. Like that loud ass, fucking obnoxious, whatever. Yeah. But now on the show though, that shit's hilarious to me. Like they're like,
No, the show is funny as hell.
they're like kung fu or like some martial arts sound or something. But yeah, no, it's a cool design. I think we should have more starfish type Pokemon, man. That's just cool.
They should incorporate that sound thing into the game. Like, I'm looking at how much more
How are we not
kilobytes
there?
are we using?
How are we
Yeah,
not
how
there?
many more kilobytes are we using? I guess they don't want to actually like hire voice actors to
I
do
get it, but
things.
I mean, they the only one right now confirmed Pikachu and Eevee are the only ones with their actual sound.
Yes,
That's only because of Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu.
right, 100%.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess like you said, they don't want to go through all 1,000 Pokemon and do their do their voice, but it can't be that difficult.
It can't be, but you know what?
Can't.
They don't want to pay. I think they really just don't want to pay the people to do it.
Yeah.
You pay them. You have to
It's
pay
like a
them royalty for
whole
the
nother
game.
step in doing it. Like,
Yeah.
you got to like get them to go to the place to record. You got to rent the recording facility.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All this other stuff, you got to record in different languages. Sometimes they're not called Star U in English. Sometimes they're called some other shit. So I get the issue is, but still, whatever.
When I played the card game for this is a kind of a PG-13 moment for Mount Silver.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
When
We need more of these.
when I played the card game and I played in the league at Zany Brainy, the Japanese cards started to get popular, and they had sets come out before we did. Obviously, like they have everything else come out before us or did in the past, and there was a card in the gym leader set where Misty was like topless, and one of the Star Me or Star You was like covering.
Yeah, that card's worth a lot of money now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think not only is it weird because I think theoretically she was not 18, so that's weird. But like at the time when I was like 11, that wasn't the thing that was on my mind. It was like, oh, this is hot. But Zany Brainy had an absolute meltdown, and they had done a killing selling the Japanese cards, and then the soccer moms rushed in, and the Japanese cards were banned from.
That card got reprinted with a bathing suit on.
Very strange.
Well, listen, they were trying different things.
They're trying to push it to the next level.
Yeah, a little bit. Let's jump into the anime itself. It is episode 7. Once again, as Pat said, it is only one episode between this and the Brock thing. But in terms of a status update on hand, we have now a traveling company. It is the 3 Musketeers. It is the Triumvirate. It is Ash, Misty, and Brock, the beloved 3.
The click.
Ash still has Pikachu, Pidgeotto, and Butterfree. That is his party. Brock caught a Zubat at Mount Moon. Didn't tell anybody.
Caught it outside.
Caught it outside, caught it off screen. Brock will have more off screen opportunities sometime in this episode as well.
The idea that people caught Pokemon so rarely on the show, the idea that they had one off screen as like a throwaway is so funny.
It don't make no sense.
Like, because catching, you're 100% right.
It's like the Sopranos, how people used to complain that like people there weren't enough actual like killings on the Sopranos. It was just too much like people in the mob hanging out. That's what I felt like about Pokemon. I was like, where are the evolutions and the catching? It never happened.
Ash, man, with
Imagine
the
if an evolution happened off screen.
Yeah, exactly. But in these early days, who knows?
So we have 2 things at the beginning of this episode. I won't start off with the actual Misty thing, but I'll start off with the Team Rocket thing because I feel like that it is. I think this is the most thought out and crafty that Team Rocket is, and it's really at the beginning of this episode, of the series. And
they got nerfed after this.
Yeah, because I think too many shocks to the brain ended up like ruining things. But they had a really thought out plan. It was like, okay, we're gonna go in the store, steal this giant vacuum. And hose, and that is going to be our plan. And we're not really going to reveal a whole bunch of other stuff after that. But It is Team Rocket at their best, kind of legitimately at their best, Rocket Gang. And then we see all after the fact, after it's all introduced. I'll get back to the Misty stuff. Brock and Ash come up to a big crowd of people wondering what's going on, as any kids would do during some major crime. And they're stopped by Officer Jenny, and now this begins the gag of all the Officer Jennys are the same.
Also goes from like the sisters looking the same to a sister-in-law looking the same. I'm
to a
like,
cousin.
I don't know.
Like a cousin looking the same.
Yeah.
You're getting a weird place.
I mean, I'll squint and buy it, but I don't know about that one.
Also begins the running gag of Horny Brock.
Horny Brock.
Horny Brock is probably the most stalwart thing in all of Pokemon.
Oh yeah, it's still going on to this day. Like legitimately, anytime Brock shows up in the series at this point now, which he has shown up in a recent season, it's still the same thing. And then it's either Misty carrying him off, or one of his Pokemon carrying him off, or something.
Somebody.
Yeah, 100%. I love the fact that Ash's ID is his Pokédex. Don't love the fact that Brock uses the gym badge and is like, trust me, this is my gym.
Right.
But that's just a part that just made me like laugh. I just love that entire ordeal. Now, going to the Misty stuff at the beginning of this episode, Misty does not want to go to Cerulean City at all. She's like, no. Can we take the long way and go to Vermilion City? Can we go to legitimately any other gym? And they're like, no, Cerulean City's right. I feel like this is like Brock leaves as well at some point in this episode. Very questionable. What did you guys think?
What is he going to do?
I don't know. I mean, to me, maybe he's just super horny, man.
They reached Cerulean City and they reached like a crosswalk or something along those lines. And he's just like, and Brock's just like, gotta go. And Ash is like, where are you going? He's like, I got stuff to do. What stuff?
Yeah, I was trying to think like what it's like if this were something that you like, if this were in an actual like pretend this weren't like a show, like an hour-long drama that you were watching. If somebody just like left, if they made a point of a character being like, yeah, I'm going to leave to do some stuff, and another character was like, what stuff? And they're like, oh, I'll see you later. Like that would be a huge, like that would be a major plot point. And in
we have no idea.
Yeah, in this it was literally just like, oh, he's not in this shit.
Yeah,
he's not a part of this. I'm a rock gym. I don't want to be in a water gym. Maybe you're scared to be in a water gym, man.
Something along those lines. Just like some also fun weird fact as well. This gym leader code thing of like, I sent the picture earlier in the chat of like Ash sitting with his legs crossed. Very awkward fashion. Very awkwardly drawn. They've never seen legs crossed in their lives. But there's also some sort of code where Ash is like, have you known anything about the gym leader? And he's like, I'm not liable to think that information. Just gym leaders.
No hints.
We don't really
no strategy,
share.
Guys.
Yeah, I think these rules are a little bit up for interpretation. Who knows? I think it was like, it's like, I was
he's like referencing that he's a guy or something. And I'm just like, I don't know who this gym is.
Well, my thing is like Misty, even, going against Brock, it's not like Misty wasn't giving him hints about what to do against him. She even offered a fucking
she told him the strategy and offered she offered
so like I don't know what kind of code they're living by, but
Brock is just the Pokemon Regional Championship code, man.
Brock is like hiding an addiction in this episode. He's saying all this weird stuff.
Oh my god. No, the just stuff. The gym leader code, him just appearing at the end of the episode again and just deciding like, you ready to go? That's legitimately the first thing he says. Is like, you ready to go?
Silly.
Yeah, I'm out. And I'm just like, whatever. So Ash reaches the gym entirely, the Cerulean City Gym. He shows up. They're not even doing gym battles in this show. They're having synchronized swimming shows. It's the three sisters who sound like they're from California. Would I be wrong in saying that?
It's from Southern Cal.
They're totally different. It's one of the things that's like great about anime specifically to me, where like they take very specific stereotypes from like literally America, but really like. It's one of the things that like sometimes you're watching anime and you're like, is this offensive? And you're like, well, they literally take stereotypes from every single part of the world and every like time period, and just like you'll see like you'll see some shit. You'll be like, is this character from ancient Egypt next to like a character who's from space? So like sometimes it is like, yeah, I think this could be construed as offensive, but really like, I mean, it's kind of like South Park-esque in that they're like kind of equal opportunity offenders.
Like the Mexican magic card dealer in that SSN episode.
Yes.
I got it.
Those girls are some Valley girls.
Yeah, and so I think some of this stuff, if it were drawn today, even though it's not in America, some of it might be drawn a little differently, a little more PC. But it is, and not that Valley Girl is one of the more offensive stereotypes that exists. Again, you know, I don't want to suggest that, but they are definitely. That's another thing. They're very Valley Girl, and then I kind of wonder, like, if the Japanese version of them was like. You know, if in Japan the Japanese
super serious and shit.
Yeah, like what were they doing?
I think it's the same, dude.
They were doing Valley Girls there. Like you have to assume kind of yes, because the drawing style goes along with it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But like that's the kind of thing at 30 I'm wondering that I wasn't wondering at 10.
I'll say this real quick, man, just as a side note. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was absolutely abusing the Egyptian culture. So if you guys go back and check that out, like you'll see some things that you're like, I'm not sure.
I mean, even like
okay.
The entire game, like, is kind of, you know, I mean, again, it's ancient Egypt. Like, I don't think anyone is going to be offended by like, hey, you're using Anubis offensively.
right.
Nobody's like actually worships Anubis now, but even like beyond like the stuff with the gods, like the iconography of it is a little, I think, like probably a little questionable.
Yeah, probably
it's like shameless.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, you're probably right.
But the Valley Girls are fine.
The three swimming sisters, whatever the hell they're called, of Cerulean City, they don't even like battling. They're just like, yo, we just got walloped by 3 trainers from Pallet Town. And
Gym leader code, give the fuck up. they're like league officials, and they're saying that they won't.
Yeah,
won't battle.
like, yo, we just got beat 3 times in a row. I'm like, well, that's the life of a gym leader. I feel like that's the life of a gym leader.
You're gonna lose.
Yeah,
you're going to lose. And quite honestly, it's up to your discretion at this point, judging from this show, whether you want to give them badges or not. So you don't even have to lose.
That's another fact.
But they make reference to these 3 trainers. Obviously, one of them is Gary, but we never really get to see the other 2 trainers from Pallet Town who snuck off with the Charmander and the Bulbasaur. Unless it's like implied, because there are a Charmander and a Bulbasaur that end up becoming ashes at the end of the series. Like the trainer who gave away his Bulbasaur was the one from Pallet Town.
One's got to be green. I'm assuming.
Or
the chick.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
I assume so. I don't know.
And then I think we can assume that Ash's Charmander that he gets on the road, his
from that Australian guy.
Yeah, his
Charmander.
Charmander, you're weak.
Stop, Pat. Stop, dude. That's we can do a whole episode in that fucking accent. It's like, where are you from, bro? Like.
Again, and not that like Australian guy is the most offensive stereotype, but like why the fuck was he just screaming in this asshole Australian abusing his Charmander?
You knew that he wasn't actually Australian.
Yeah,
of course.
You could. It's just some guy playing an Australian accent. No,
yeah, they called in some guy like us to just start screaming in this fake accent.
It was someone in a fake accent. That's so funny. Anyway,
I don't think that guy was from Pallet Town, so that Charmander I think is free for. There could be another one out there.
I don't know. Who knows? So they were originally going to just give the gym back. It was like, yo, just take it. You want the Cascade badge? We don't really have any Pokemon. All we have is a Goldeen. Meanwhile, like Seal is in the thing, and he's
right.
Yeah, I'm like, you got 2 Pokemon right there. I mean, he's like, our Seal only knows. I mean, our Goldeen only knows Horn Attack. I'm like.
Like, why are y'all?
You the second gym,
like they say that they went to the Pokemon Center, but they also say they only have a Goldeen. And then seconds after they say Goldeen is their only Pokemon left, they call Seal over, who hops out with the badge. There's duplicity going on here. I don't like it.
I don't support it. But then Misty literally jumps from like 7 feet high, or like maybe like 12 feet or something like that. She jumps legitimately from
that's a 30-foot jump, Meelz.
She jumps from the bleachers to the floor.
ACL's ripped.
And it was just like, if you won't battle him, I will. And she sounds really like more bratty than I remember.
Yeah, but then
And
they kind of give her respect anyway.
yeah, they kind of, I think they toned it down because at some point, probably during the later seasons, or when it came to America, they didn't kind of like the depiction of her as this like kind of bratty, bratty little girl. And she ends up getting a lot more of a better edit or better writing in general of like, oh, now she's motherly because she, has Togepi and like, oh, now she's nicer.
Yeah,
and blah,
she's
blah,
the only
blah.
girl on the trip, so let's
So
make it work.
now we get Ash versus Misty. Second gym battle, second friend, second everything. This battle, I mean, it starts off with Butterfree versus Staryu. Once again, Staryu, just an MVP of this episode. Just for the cry itself.
It starts off with Pikachu fucking refusing to fight.
Oh, yeah.
Which is I don't know. They gotta keep shit going.
Thanks,
And I'm just like-
you're a Pika pal. Well, he's kind of a
I'm just
Pika prick.
Nigga's doing whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, yo, I don't want to battle. I understand. I guess it's a friend. They don't want to battle friends. Even though Pikachu ended up coming into the play of the result by the time this comes to the end for no reason. But we do Butterfree versus Staryu. I think Staryu, once again, if I had to choose MVP of this episode, it's Staryu. For some reason, that Star just has a lot of personality. My man has he just pops out the ball. Butterfree tries to use Stun Spore. The man washes it off in water. Comes back and like flexes its like star muscles or whatever the hell it is.
New rules.
Very new rules. If that was an actual thing, like let's say you got hit by Stun Spore or some sort of powder or something along those lines, and then you use Rain Dance and it washes it off.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Game changer.
And
then she just uses, tackle enough times to knock Butterfree in the water. And Butterfree, as we know from life itself, butterflies cannot swim. It's a wrap.
That's
It's
it.
a wrap.
It's over.
It's a wrap for Butterfree. He calls back Butterfree. He's like, yo, butterflies can't swim. And then also Misty calls back Staryu.
Interesting move. Strategic, maybe?
Yeah. Maybe.
Strategy?
Potentially. Pidgeotto versus Starmie. So we got Pidgeotto out there. Pidgeotto has a decent battle. Let me tell you something about Pidgeotto.
Let's talk about
He has some good moments.
Yeah.
Granted, for a lot of his moments, he's like search and rescue.
Definitely. Yeah, he's definitely like help us, fly us out of here.
A lot of it is like, we need to help find this Pokemon that's lost. I got a Pidgeotto. What do you guys got? And like he'll be like return back. It's like the fire's down north or something along those lines. Still a lot of search and rescue moments for Pidgeotto. But he shows up in this battle to beat a Starmie, knowing how hard Starmie was to face in our games. Not an easy task.
Not easy.
But he hits him with a gust that kind of crits Starmie very easily, like critical hits, because his like crest is like blinking. It's like, oh, that means he's low on power. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's new. Thanks.
Cool. I wish that was in the game.
They don't do that in the black and white handheld that I
He's
have.
dying.
Yeah.
Like,
His life force is vanishing during this forced battle.
And then shortly after, Team Rocket breaks in. Shout out to Team Rocket. Very rare blue rose from James. Very rare.
Very rare.
They have a plan. I mean, I guess this plan was decided whether or not Ash would be there or not. Not sure. But their plan is to suck all the water from the gym and steal all the Pokemon from the water. Not knowing it was just Seal and Goldeen.
Not their worst plan. Not
their worst plan. They have some bad ones.
Yeah, but I think, I think they thought out the, like, let's get the equipment through, but, like, not the whole, like, let's see what's actually there before we decide to, like, steal all this big-ass equipment.
We're going to do a whole episode on James being rich as fuck and having a Growlithe.
Oh, yeah, I love that episode.
I forgot about that.
The whole backstory. I think they have one, my favorite episode as well, because they do a little nice little backstory. Remember the biker road thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Something Jesse and like little James or something along those lines.
Yeah.
James being rich and having the Growlithe is like when you find out, like when you meet a Twitter person in real life, and like they're not their brand at all.
Yeah, 100%. No, you're right. So they plan to suck up all the Pokemon. Seal gets captured easily. Sorry, he doesn't battle. He just gets captured. They also steal Pikachu as well, and he's also getting sucked. And then Ash has this come to God moment where he's literally like, wait a minute. Water conducts electricity.
Duh. You learned this last episode.
And that's how he defeats Team Rocket via major water. So that is that. Their plans are thwarted. Team Rocket blasts off into space, a la every episode. And then the sisters hand Ash the Cascade badge anyway. So
This,
here we are.
to be fair, this one is
handoff.
This one is much more earned than the first.
I would say so.
Like he at
But
least
still.
helped them.
But still.
Well, the first one was like a battle of like circumstance, right? Like the first one is just like it just happened to catch on fire, happened to set off the sprinklers, happened to everything. But yes, this one I would say it's a lot more earned, granted. So at the end of the day, the sisters award Ash the Cascade badge anyway, because of technicalities. He helped save the gym, all types of extra rules to this entire thing. And the quote is at the eventually of the day, they're like, he helped save the gym, and if he had used Pikachu anyway, he still would have won. So,
but like, how do you know that?
It's like if he had just used Pikachu from the beginning, he would have won. I was like,
What if Pikachu was off that day?
Yeah, you guys stink. What if Misty had a plan for electric type?
He couldn't convince Pikachu to even fight in the battle.
Like, how does that come to the fact that Pikachu still came into play in this battle? To me, it just shocked the hell out of me.
They feared Pikachu so much that they respected the fact that it was electric typing. Like, you know what? If he would have used it, this shit would have been over. So here's the badge, anyways. I mean, it's
here's
weird
the badge
logic, but,
anyway.
you know.
And you know what? Ash gets the badge. He's 2 for 2 in the city.
He
Very
pays the
nice.
price the next time around for not
yes.
earning the first two.
Yeah,
by
we'll
getting
definitely
like
talk about that for sure.
existentially punished.
Right, 100%. And then they reach outside. Brock shows up. Yo, Brocco. And Brock dips quickly. Brock's like, "Yo, let's get out of here." Based on stuff.
Like, what was he doing? Like,
I don't know,
Brock
but he
was
doesn't
getting
want to be
a
in
happy
Cerulean
ending or
City
some
anymore.
What's even in Cerulean City? There's like the dig house. There's
he could have went to
daycares in the south.
the daycare is down there. Yeah,
Daycare's down there. Went to There's Bill's house up north.
Bill's house.
They had other plans for Big Bill.
There's a Nugget Bridge. I think you get a nugget on that bridge. I don't know.
Brock was walling. Confirmed.
Yes, easily, 100%. But that's the end of this episode. That's the end of this entire ordeal. Misty, she did her best.
I respect Misty. Misty.
She did her best. She tried to hold down the integrity of the Cerulean City Gym when the integrity was long forgotten and thrown out the window.
She also could have whooped Brock's ass.
Yeah,
she could have.
It's very true as well. Up next episode.
Big one.
It's a big one. The third gym battle, the one that Ash has no friends unless Lieutenant Surge wants to come on this ride as well. So, third gym, Lieutenant Surge, Raichu, classic battle, classic encounter, classic gym thing, classic everything.
All timer.
We have so much to talk about next episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Mount Silver Podcast. You can follow up on more news Mount Silver related at the Lookout RNC on Twitter. You can also follow RNC Radio Live on Twitter. You can follow myself at Meelz TV. You can follow Jeff at Old Newsboy. You can follow Pat at Pafif on Twitter. You can figure out what we're doing, what we're talking about. Chances are it's Animal Crossing for them.
Yes.
Listen, but we're here. And, we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Yep.